Heyo everybody, Haku here with returning to the HaQ&A, kind of, sort of. It's going to be a bit of a special one. I guess this would either be HaQ&A 68, or I wasn't sure if I should call it like HaQ&A Season 2 or something, because we haven't done this for a while. And I've been thinking for forever, okay, when I finally bring it back, when I finally get back to it, what am I going to say? And I've thought about a million things a million times over, and I definitely guarantee I'm not going to remember everything I wanted to say. So I'm just going to try to get to what I can. I do have some notes jotted down, of course, like always. But yeah, let's talk. First of all, this one's going to be a little bit special. I'm just going to talk for a second about general stuff with the channel, not too long. But after that, there are just a bunch of different topics and series that we cover. And for this one, instead of going for specific comments, because there are so many where I'm weeks behind, I'm just going to go through each series and talk about each series in general a little bit and some of the current topics that are going on there. And hopefully from that we can start again next week or the week after next. I'm going to be back to doing the HaQ&As are back. I'm going to be doing them every week or every other week, depending on how many comments there are that week. Because I don't know, I feel bad that I'm behind, but I feel like the HaQ&A was something that was like central to the channel. I feel like the discussion was something the channel really needs, and it's definitely been on me. Because I don't know, I got behind on comments and was catching up, but I was so busy making videos day to day that I just ended up behind. And not only did I end up behind, but I was so far behind that I was like, there's no way I can make a HaQ&A based on just the little that I've been able to answer. So yeah, I've been struggling to keep up. Hopefully, of course, that'll be better next season. I'm taking on less new shows. That, and I'm going to make it a point to answer comments more reasonably quick. So yeah. Also, one thing I'm getting rid of the monthly updates, because if I'm doing the HaQ&A every week or every other week, I can just talk about the way the schedule's going or what I'm planning on doing for the week here in the HaQ&A. So I mean, there's no real need for the monthly update. I kind of got to the point where the two things that they were for, which is choosing what anime to watch or talking about that, and keeping you updated on what's going on. HaQ&A is better for keeping you updated on what's going on, and the videos I made last season and that I just put out a few days ago, if it'd be helpful if you watched it, for 2018 Winter's anime season, asking what you think I should watch and review. That's more easy, that's a more efficient way to do that. So I just feel like there wasn't a point for the monthly updates anymore. That and not working on them gives me more time to work on everything else, just the way things go. So yeah, I've missed this discussion week to week, and I feel like though views have been very good, same as normal, I feel like there's been less discussion recently. I don't know if it's the way some of the series are, because some of them aren't at super high points, I guess. I think the biggest thing is probably on me again, not answering people well enough that they feel that discussion is really important. Like, I feel like a lot of people probably got to the point where they're like, what's the point of commenting all the time if he's not going to answer all the time? So again, I need to get better with that. But that too, and I noticed the drop off was around like back to school time is when and that's natural, where everybody was like, we have school stuff to do, so less discussion and all that was happening naturally. But like I said, most of it's on me. Either way, moving forward, any other general updates here? For Magical Girl Raising Project, it'll be coming back pretty much every single week as soon as I get through episodes, and there's only two episodes of episodes left. So once those are revised and I read through videos on those, of course I'm going to do the special videos I talked about, where I'll do my favorite characters of Restart, and then I'll do my reaction to the character designs for Limited, and I'll probably do both of those videos the same week, and then weekly we can read Limited. At least I'll shoot for weekly. For the fall season 2017, I'm going to talk about a lot of those shows there, so we can discuss them in the comments or in next week's HaQ&A when I discuss the comments. So fall 2017 was really good. Don't know how it compares to winter or spring. I still feel like winter and spring were incredibly strong, but fall's up there with them. I feel like in hindsight, I really did like summer, but summer was the weak season out of the 4 when it came to anime. I put in my notes that, yeah, I had that video I posted a couple days ago, or maybe even the day before I'm posting this, where I discussed the anime for next season. Also, I'm going to be recording it right after I record this, so I'm not sure if I'll post it today and this tomorrow as of when I'm recording it, or if I'm going to post this the day I'm recording it and post that tomorrow. But I am going to be doing sort of an award video for 2017, because I've got the top waifu video, and that's coming in January. I've been working on the list and stuff, and I'm going to have I'm not going to have a ton of editing, but a little bit in there to like show pictures of the characters I'm talking about and have the names and stuff. I'm not going to do a ton of editing for the award video, but I just wanted something where I only counted anime from 2017 the entire year, and I would just give it's dumb, but like, you know, I would just say like what I thought was the best comedy, get some nominees for that. I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do, and it's just something new to try out. I'm just going to try it out and do it now, and if people like it or something, I think I'll do it again next year, and I'll maybe put more editing and stuff into it, but this year is going to be pretty bare bones. But for that waifu video, if you don't know what I'm talking about, what I had planned to do with the channel last year and what I want to keep doing is I started the channel early January, so every year in January I kind of want to do my top favorite 50 anime waifu, and I'm going to do that each year and see how the list changes year to year. But I just thought it'd be a fun little celebration kind of video once a year. So yeah, also HaQ&As will be back to normal after this. After this they'll go back. I'll have transitions between each scene, the little transition card things I made, and or I make each week. I'll be doing that, and I'll be taking comments and actually discussing the comments and the topics that they talk about each week instead of just being general. Also for this, right before I get into the first series I'm going to talk about, I am going to do a jump cut between each one so that I can put in the name of the series at the bottom of the screen. I'll throw in some text. That way it'll be easier if you're skimming through trying to find certain series you want to see me talk about. It'll be easier for you to see there. And because I'm not going to do the full-on cards between each one, because I don't think I'll talk about all of them for super long, and if I just talk about one for like 30 seconds, it'd feel weird to put in the card, talk about it for just such a short time, and then put in another card for the next series. But I will have the title at the bottom when I first get into talking about each series as sort of a marker in the video, and I'll use those to put the timestamps down in the comments like I did before. And I always put the timestamps in the comments rather than the description, because I think, I might be wrong, I don't use mobile YouTube very often, but I think it's easier to see and use that, to use the comments than the description. But either way, I could be wrong, I just think it works better there. So pinned at the top of the comments if you want to see where in the video each series is so you can jump to it, that'll be where that is. And I'll be starting off with the Walking Dead TV show. Get that out of the way because I know a ton of you are probably here for anime and manga and stuff. So I'll talk about that first, get it out of the way before I move into some of the sort of stuff that we cover every single week all the time, and then save most of the anime type stuff for last for this season's anime. But either way, I really do hope you enjoy the video, and I think it'll feel really good to get back into the swing of things with the HaQ&A every week or two. So, yep, thank you for watching, and enjoy. Alright, first up's the Walking Dead TV show. I haven't talked about this since the reviews. It's been a couple weeks, actually. I thought the season was pretty, well, the first half of the season, I thought it's been alright so far. And I feel like when watching it, it's a good show. Not overly amazing or anything, it doesn't blow me away, but I thought it was good for basically the entire season. I do think this series as a whole has been struggling since that season 6 cliffhanger ending. That's a thing for me. I feel like ever since that cliffhanger, it just hasn't felt the same as it did before then. Something about the show, And I know once they got to Alexandria, it felt different than before then. But even now, it feels different to even the season 5 or 6 when they were first at Alexandria. Not just because the world is bigger, but it feels like the way the show is handled, in a lot of ways, some stuff seems cheaper. It seems like they don't even go as all out anymore. And I don't blame the show for actually all the problems. I don't blame the show for basically any of them. Every time I have a problem, it's something with production quality or something with the story that I think the whole backstage corporate AMC aspect has something to do with it. So really, I think AMC is the root of most of the problems with the show and not the actual people making the show. I do have a problem with, I'm going to try not to spoil too much, but you know the big death that happened in the mid-season finale. I kind of have a problem with that. I don't see where it's going. Of course, I'm still going to watch. I'm not going to be salty and complain. I'm going to enjoy it for what it is, but for what it is, I think it's a really weird writing choice. I think it's kind of a bad writing choice. I wouldn't have made that choice, but yeah. So either way, those were kind of my general thoughts right now for the first half of the season. But yeah, I still don't feel like the show's recovered from that cliffhanger. Next up, I'll talk about the Walking Dead comics for a little bit. They've been really good lately. I love the love the comics. Princess as a new character is one topic that's been brought up. I've seen some people dislike her, but it seems like it's a generally pretty positive reception from normal people that don't... because there's always that certain minority out there that's always going to complain no matter what happens. It's like they watch or read a specific series just to complain about everything that happens. But other than that, I think generally it's been pretty positive, or at least just new character, who cares. But yeah, I love the character. It seems from reading the letter hacks and stuff that Kirkman really enjoys the character, so I expect her to be pretty important unless it's some sort of swerve. And then just recently we had the Negan and Maggie chapter, which was really, really good. So yeah, the comics have just been in a really good place lately. Like, it focused just on Negan and Maggie, but I wasn't ever like, oh, I want to see any other groups. Though I did want to see other groups, of course. I was completely happy with that chapter focusing, or issue focusing solely on them. Just because it was a really good story. Also, Aaron taking out Beta was incredible. I friggin' love that. I love Aaron getting the big moment to take down the big bad guy like that. And it kind of, sort of, the beginning of this whole conflict with Beta and stuff. The first time we saw Beta, he stabs Aaron through the gut, and then the way he dies, the way it all ends, is Aaron shoots him through the gut. I think it was like a really cool juxtaposition there with the story. So I really actually like Aaron getting that big moment. Next up, we have Tower of God. Going to talk about this for a little bit. I've been loving this arc. It is pretty linear. It's your basic, we're going on this place, on this adventure, going to fight some enemies as we go through. It's a very linear arc, but I've been loving it. I've enjoyed every single week, even if it's not been like great, blow you away stuff. I've enjoyed it every time, but it seems like from the responses I've seen from readers and comments and all that, it seems like people don't have as much hype for it as the past few arcs. Well, I feel like hype was huge for Floor of Death, and I've said this before, and I think maybe the Floor of Death hype being so high and Floor of Death delivering in a way, but not in the way most of us thought it would, and it just being sort of okay. I think that maybe that's made this arc seem less hype in comparison, just because we just got out of the Floor of Death. So yeah, I feel like the show's been way less discussed and talked about lately. But yeah, I love everything going on with the series, and I think one of my favorite things going on right now was the whole Rachel Icarus thing, because I think Rachel as Icarus here, and the potential that can serve in the story, it's just really cool, because there's so many ways that CU could write write anything that could happen here. Whether she's just using Bomb's group to get what she wants, whether she uses it to sort of try and see what it's like to be friends with them before inevitably separating back again. There are just a million different ways CU can take the story, and I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's one of the more dynamic parts of the arc. So yeah, and it's cool to. I wish we got to see more sworn enemies and more, because the sworn enemy thing is weird. It's like we were introduced to that subject as if it was going to be a huge thing for the arc, and then we haven't really seen much come of it. The sworn enemy thing, and also I kind of wish we saw more important, like 10 family head type characters, or not even 10 family head, but characters that we've seen in the story so far, sort of like Yuan Sung is, where we've seen them and now we get to see the younger version of them in the Hidden Floor. I think seeing more stuff like that would be cool, and I kind of wish we've gotten more of that. But there's still hope. The arc still has plenty to go, it feels like. So I still think we can see plenty of that in the future. Next up, let's talk about Boku no Hero Academia. Boku no Hero Academia, I just finished the first arc that I haven't really liked. The arc we just came off of with Chisaki and Eri and Night Eye and all that. I liked it at first a lot, but it kind of devolved into a bit of a mess, and I just didn't really like it. And one thing, and that's weird because I loved every arc before this, and then this arc I just felt like it was a mess. And one thing that I found issue with, and I saw a ton of other people said in the comments too, it didn't feel like the structure, chapter to chapter, it didn't feel like reading Boku no Hero Academia. And now just the few chapters that we've been back and we're with this group with Bakugo and Kami and Todoroki and stuff, that feels like how Boku no Hero Academia felt before this 8 Precepts arc. So that arc, it just, when I would read a chapter, it wouldn't feel like reading a Boku no Hero Academia chapter before then. It just, I kept hearing people say at one point that Horikoshi was sick, so I think maybe his illness, or his or her, I believe it's a guy, his illness had something to do with maybe some chapters here and there, maybe not being completely fleshed out or finished, but I don't know, just so much of it seemed really jumbled and messy, and it didn't seem organized or structured very well. And yeah, it was the first arc in this series that I haven't really liked. That's not to say anything for the series as a whole. An arc can ruin a series, but this didn't. I was about to say one single arc can't ruin a series, but no, it's possible. A single arc could ruin a series, hypothetically. But yeah, hopefully Horikoshi can bring it back for me. Like, even just, like I said, what we've seen in the past 2-3 chapters since that arc ended, I already feel like it feels like Boku no Hero Academia again. Or at least it feels like the arc before last, the provisional test arc. The pacing chapter to chapter feels like that pacing and organization again. And even before that, it had similar pacing and organization. So I truly believe Horikoshi can bring it back. I don't know what was going on with that arc and why it felt so unorganized and messy. And one thing that's going on currently in it, Kami could be new best girl. I already have so many girls that are possible best girl, and somebody just, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was, but somebody just commented, I think I woke up and read it this morning, that there's that there are so many great female characters and character designs that Horikoshi made. I think they said Horikoshi can't make a bad female character. But that's true. There's so many great female characters that it is so difficult to choose a best girl. I like the Pussycats. I like Mount Lady. I like Nemedy something, or was it something? Yeah. I don't remember her full name, but for some reason that Midnight. For some reason her real name was coming to me before Midnight, but Midnight was like top waifu for such a long time. Izuku's mom was adorable. I like Asui and Toru and Ashido. They're all great characters. Uraraka kind of She's kind like, I don't know. I guess the main female lead is often pretty of a character in a show where the main character is male and it focuses mostly on the male characters. The female lead is generally not very good. So I had to make that distinction, because if the female lead is the one that's carrying the series, like say Railgun, then the female lead is generally really good. It's just when it's a male-focused series, it often feels like the female lead is only there to be a romantic interest, even if they don't end up with the main character. That's how Sakura felt, though Sakura was terrible for a myriad of reasons in Naruto. That's how Orihime felt. Rukia didn't quite feel that way in Bleach. But that's how a lot of those characters usually feel. And Uraraka has her own development, and she has charm to the character and stuff, but she does often feel like she's just in the background, and she's only there to be Izuku's love interest. And that's an issue that I have as well with Bakugo. I kind of feel like Bakugo, a lot of the time, he doesn't get the... I like that this arc is focusing a lot on him, because I feel like he doesn't get time to shine all that often. He's often just thrown in the background and treated as generic rival character, and that's not what the character is. He is more developed than that, and that's why so many fans like him. But I feel like sometimes he does get tossed to the background, and we don't really get to see much development for him. So I like that we're getting some of that now. But what I was talking about with Best Girls, I got distracted, but my current Best Girl for a little bit has been Himiko Toga, but I think Kami could be new Best Girl. Kami's hilarious. I've laughed so much just from the character from the past 2 chapters. I enjoy her so much. But yeah, I guess that's really it for Boku no Hero Academia right now. Alright, let's talk about One Piece a little bit. One Piece has been incredible. Like, the anime and the manga. I'm going to talk about both, so if you're an anime-only watcher, I'll try to... No, I can't really avoid spoilers. So you might want to skip One Piece for this week. Or, I don't think there are that many anime-only watchers, really, that watch my videos, but I think it's been incredible recently, both anime and manga. I was so wrong about the whole Cake Island arc earlier, just months ago even. I was like, oh, this arc isn't very good, I'm not really that into it. But the anime is what turned my opinion around. The anime is possibly the best it has been all of post-time skip. At least you could argue that. You could argue that this is the best the anime has been since the time skip. And I would say fair argument. So just because of that, and because there's so much left to go, so much of the best stuff of the arc is left to go in the anime, and the manga, it's still not over. We could still have a lot of great stuff happen in the manga. The manga's doing super well. Every single week, I'm really interested in One Piece again, where earlier in this arc, I wasn't as much. A big thing just a week or 2 ago, we have Carrot's new form. Carrot is such a waifu. But I love Carrot. I sincerely hope she becomes the next Straw Hat because of what the story could be. Like, if this arc is treated as her backstory arc, because everybody's like, oh, but Carrot doesn't have a sad backstory like the rest unless we find out about it in the future. But what I think is great about it is each character has had... Their sad backstory had a point, and that point was that they had somebody in their life that had a dream, had a will, and they passed that dream on to them. Kuina passed the dream on to Zoro. Zeph passed his dream on to Sanji. I guess technically wouldn't it be Nami's mother sort of sending that inherited will to Nami, and that's what inherited will is one of the main themes of One Piece. With Luffy it was Shanks and Ace and Sabo in a way, and even Rayleigh in a way. He had these people passing their will on to him as a main character. I did say Luffy, right? Oh, I didn't mess that up. Jeez. But yeah, it's the same with, what was his name, Yorkie and Brooke, with all these other characters. And that's what Carrot's backstory here has. It's super, super creative because it's happening in the main current story where Pedro had that dream, had that will, and passed it on to Carrot. And I think if Carrot continues on as a Straw Hat because of that, that'd be great. Like, Fisher Tiger was the one for Jinbei, that's why Jinbei works. But just in general, the Pedro storyline has been underrated by fans to me because it's truly great. When you think about, he knew Roger, he knew all this stuff, and then he carried all this, and he lived his life just to push forward the next generation because he couldn't do it himself. He couldn't bring about this dawn himself, so he was going to be the knight between one great age to usher in the next. So I really, really loved Pedro's storyline. It was so good. But yeah, I guess that's all I got for One Piece. Next up, we got Monmusu. Monmusu really lewd recently, really good. But just the most recent chapter is the one that's making me say, holy, that's a little bit too lewd. Jeez, it's very, there's damn near hentai levels of lewd. One thing I can say though is maybe a critique or a point of discussion. I would like more character development. It seems like recently, ever since the Expo, we've been getting like Okayato makes these chapters where he'll just have a bunch of background characters in cute and or lewd situations, and it's just there to look at, but there's not really any substance with it. All the random background girls that we had stuff with in the Expo, it's happened with all the random girls in this lab place. It's happening now with the farm. But I would like to actually get new characters introduced and developed so that they can be recurring or just real actual characters like Lilith or Draco or even Cathal and Marino, or at least getting some more development out of this farm situation. But I'd like more characters like that, like the Bloodsucker trio. Treat them like actual characters, develop them a little bit. And I know that's not totally what Monmusu's about. I mean, it's a hentai self-insert fantasy, but in a lot of ways I'm reading these current chapters, the past maybe 5 or so, and I'm thinking I would love this so much more if we were getting some actual developed characters out of it. Or like the black slime that they just defeated or whatever. Why haven't we got a backstory for that? Well, I mean, we kind of got a sort of backstory, but why haven't we got a full story from the mouth of that black slime or whatever? Why is that slime sort of not allowed to be a full-on character? It's like we had Sue fight that slime, and then since then it's kind of it disappeared for this past chapter so that we could have the milking self-insert fantasy. So yeah, I don't really know. That's just one thing that I'd give as a critique is I'd really like more character work from Monmusu. And we know that Okayato can and does do that. We had a really well written and good chapter with Lala just maybe last year or the year before. One of my favorite chapters ever. And in general, we have good character development even in chapters full of lewd stuff, but it seems like lately we haven't been getting that as much. One thing I can say, though, about character development during the the Expo arc, is that we did get Cutie, and Cutie is a good character, and that's what I mean by introducing characters that can be good recurring characters. So at least we did get Cutie out of that. In addition to having the Bloodsucker trio, who I hope get more developed and recur in the future. Because they all have such good designs and such good potential, and they've all met Kurus. And the same with, it developed Poppy really well. So hopefully we can get more of that this arc. Hopefully that can happen some more. You could argue it's happened a little bit with Sue, but I really didn't think that this lab thing so far did much for Sue as a character. I mean, it's been mostly fan service and stuff. It hasn't really developed her too much. But either way, that's all I'll get on about Monmusu for now. Next up, we've got Magical Girl Raising Project. Not too much to talk about right now. I'm just enjoying episodes whenever I read them. But Limited will be very soon. And when I do it, it'll probably be weekly videos. Maybe every 2 weeks if I don't have time every week. But I'm going to shoot for weekly videos. So, yeah, that's really it. Not too much to discuss for Magical Girl Raising Project at the moment. Not too much to discuss for Pokemon either. I just got Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I haven't had time to play any, but I'm really excited to play. Want to get into the story of them. And also see some of the new Pokemon. There are a few. I think, what is its name? Naganadel, which is the next Poison Dragon. I think that looks super cool. I really want one of those. So yeah, other than that, I'm just excited to get into them. I played Sun and Moon and loved them, and even though I'm expecting Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon to be very similar, there's always good replay value with Pokemon games. So yeah, excited to get into that. Next up, we have Elf-san with Yasaranai, and I'm so hyped, and like, I get so hyped for this series. It's just a comedy. It's like, I don't get it. It's not like this huge, great journey or anything, but when I look forward to this all month, and then when it comes out, I'm so excited for it. Like, I get so happy in seeing all the fan art or just art from Cynic Dosh on Twitter or anything. It gets me so hyped up. I get so into this series. Like, I genuinely love it, and I laugh along with all the comedy bits. I am just a super fan, I guess. I am so into Elf-san with Yasadara, and I love that it's becoming so popular so quickly. They're already going to be selling figures sometime next year, but they're expensive because they're actual figures from Japan of something that isn't super huge in mainstream. So yeah, they're pretty expensive. But it's going to be having a second volume coming out in January. And I hope we get a good studio to maybe put a quality anime out for it in a year or two. I mean, it's still only 12 chapters in, and it's gotten really popular already. So you think an anime would be in the works eventually. But hey, give it a year or two and we'll see what it looks like then, because I hope a good studio gets it. Like, I think after what they did for... because Dragon Maid's manga isn't all that impressive or anything, and the art is whatever, and Kyoto Animation, KyoAni, made it look great. So if they can make Maid Dragon, and the story of Maid Dragon is great and was great for the anime, so if they can make Maid Dragon into something that great, I think they could kill it with Elf-san with Yasaranai. So that's one studio I'd love to see handle it. And yeah, I guess that's it for Elf-san. That's all for now. Next up, we're getting into this season of anime, and let's talk about Children of the Whales a little bit. It was super good. Tied for my second favorite show of the season with Hoseki no Kuni. It felt like it was just an introduction for an even more large story, which is great because I could see seasons coming for the future, and I bought into the series now. I am invested. So yeah, I'm excited for more Children of the Whales, and the first season was really good. For Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko, my favorite anime of the season, it was a great journey, and what's great about it is it's something that never needs an ending. It was my favorite from the season, but yeah, like I said, it never needs an ending. They could make another season, they could make a million seasons, and find ways to make it work. It's something that works as a never-ending journey. And one thing I loved about it is it was consistently good. Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko didn't have the highs that some of the other series had, but it didn't have any lows at all. It was consistently good every single week. There wasn't a week where I came away that I didn't think it was great. One thing I particularly loved, I said in my review and all, is when they would sort of have these scenes where they were long shots with just music or the landscape or whatever to really try to immerse the audience, and I think it worked really well, at least for me. So yeah, loved Girls Last Tour, and that's all I'll talk about it for right now. Next up, Konohana Kisan. I've been brought to tearing up quite a few times, and I believe it's episode 8, but episode 8 hit me super hard. You'll see, I think I nominated it for episode of the year during the awards video I'm going to make, but it hit, like, episode 8 was one of the best anime episodes, not just this season, but this year. Like, it was so well written, it was so great. And also for the series as a whole, some Yuri ships. You know your boy likes Yuri. Your boy is into the shoujo eye. Next up is Garo Vanishing Line. I think it's really great. Like, the art style, the characters, it looks really good. The story's really good. One of the best this season for sure, and it's got 24 episodes, I believe, so it's carrying on into winter. Yeah, I'm not totally caught up with the most recent episode, but I've been loving Vanishing Line. I've never watched a Garo anime before, so yeah, this is my first one. I love it. It makes me want to go back and watch the older Garo anime. Next is Two-Car, and I don't get how Two-Car is so underrated. I don't get how a show can be so underrated. Like, for Two-Car itself, it's a great show. The character development produced through the season has been incredible. And of course, I have complaints with the main two characters. That's pretty much all the complaints I've seen have just been about the main two characters saying, oh, why do they argue all the time? And that's me. Why are you going to have your relationship possibly lose a friendship over a guy? Nobody likes to see that in real life, like, let alone watch a show about it. Nobody wants to watch two girls bicker over a guy, you know? So that's not good, but other than that, all the side characters, the development produced through the series has been pretty incredible. Mao and Hitomi always make me laugh. I love the cutaway gags with them, and how throughout the season they're kind of becoming more self-aware, and it's so great. The story between the twins was great. I love the story about the broadcasting duo. I love the story between, who were the ones? Well, I guess both the red team and the... do they wear black? Are they the black team? What color were Nagisa? Are they purple, maybe? I don't remember, but Nagisa and Izumi, I believe, were their names. Their story was great, and the story with the red team. I think Misaki was one of their names, but that was towards the beginning of the season. Don't remember the names too well. But yeah, Two-Car has been great, and it's so underrated. I haven't seen a single piece of fan art anywhere, which is incredible to me, given that there are some series that have way worse stories, way worse character designs, way worse animation, and they get tons of fan art, tons of people paying attention. In Two-Car, the animation has looked nice. Throughout the season, it's looked good. The character designs are good. They're all unique. The characters are developed and great waifus and stuff, and somehow with all of this, and it has really good animation, no fan art, barely heard anything about it outside of myself watching it. It is so strange that this show was so underrated. Like, it's very, very strange to me. Next up, we have Boku no Kanojo Majime Sugiru something Shobich. Shobich no Ken. Yeah, I don't remember the total title. It's long and confusing, but Shobich. It's an immature sex joke comedy. That's all it is. But going into that, I thought I wouldn't... a couple people said they were watching it, so I was like, I'll check it out too. I thought I wouldn't like it, because I'm like, I'm not into an immature sex joke comedy. But it was better than I thought it would be. I got a good few laughs out of it, and I enjoyed watching all the episodes. And like... just last season there was Hajimete no Gal, which was unwatchable. I tried to push through 2 episodes of it, and it was just unwatchably bad. I'm gonna, again, at some point, I said I would give it another chance. I would try it again, but I just remember it being unwatchably bad. And now this is a similar comedy style, but even when this gets super vulgar or immature, Shobich didn't ever really turn me off. Like from the series. Like even though it was a similar comedy style, it was done really, really well, and all the girls are characters. They're really, really likable. Everyone is enjoyable. So yeah, it was really, really great. Even when it got super vulgar, immature, I loved it. I love how the one girl was Yuri and Bestiality Girl. Yes, the Yuri girl. I liked her. What was her name even? I don't even remember. I don't even remember all their names. Was she Risa? I don't remember. I like the glasses girl too, who was the head of the student council committee or whatever, and the one class rep with the long bangs that was just her. She was cuckoldry. That was her entire character, in a creepy sort of way too. I don't know. There were so many jokes that I'm like, ordinarily I wouldn't find funny or wouldn't work for me, because I would just say, okay, this is vulgar or immature. But I loved it when Shobich did it for some reason. So yeah, I thought it was a funny show. Junie Tyson. Junie Tyson was a weird, weird situation. It started off amazing, then it got kind of bad, not gonna lie, but then it brought it back around to where I was like, this is good, this is decently good, this makes sense. Monkey was my favorite character, but the big problem with it is the characters were super underdeveloped, or undeveloped even. They didn't really develop any character, and if they gave them a little bit of development, it was just to kill them off. So, Junie Tyson had a lot of problems. I feel like those problems exist a lot in survival game shows, but I mean, there was more development in Mirai Nikki, and I didn't even like Mirai Nikki very much. But there was more development there than here. There was way, way more development in Magical Girl Racing Project, so it can be done with these survival games without spoiling, and Magical Girl Racing Project was only 12 episodes, so it can be done without spoiling things or without ruining characters. You can develop them and have the survival game still be good. So I don't know, Junie Tyson just I don't know, kind of undeveloped, didn't really sit super well in the end, I guess. Next up, Hoseki no Kuni. Incredibly fun. It was so fun. It had a great 3D CG art style, and normally I dislike 3D CG, but it looked so good. I love the mystery of the world behind it, the rock people, learning all about them. It was so good. Like I said at the beginning, gonna make me sexually attracted to rocks. Yellow Diamond is my rock mom, yes. I also Rutiel, Euclase, Jade, some of my favorites, Alexandrite. But yeah, Hoseki no Kuni, I absolutely loved every bit of it, and hope we get a good season 2 as well. Now, Netju no Susume, I'm only like 5 episodes in, but I decided to throw it here to give my thoughts. It started well enough. I was really into it. I watched it every weekend when it came out. It was cute and comfy, and I loved the main character. But as soon as we had the episode where she cut her hair and was trying to change herself and who she is to make people think she fits in, or to make people think she's cool or whatever, that was such a big turnoff to me that as soon as the episode happened where she cut her hair and stuff, I haven't watched since then. Now I want to finish it because I think it's only 10 episodes long, so I'm like halfway through or over halfway through already. But yeah, ever since that episode I haven't been able to watch because I'm like, I don't know, that was such a turnoff to me. Her trying to change who she is to fit in with other people. I don't know, that didn't sit well with me at all. Anime Guitarist has been super fun. It's got an addicting opening. But the thing is, it started out really kind of like a cozy slice of life, and I really liked that about it. It was just a fun little slice of life to watch, laugh at a bit. But then towards the end, the past episode or two, it's got really absurdist. Like, the comedy has gone from just normal slice of life stuff to being a bit out there and unrealistic. And before, the only unrealistic thing, of course, was the talking cat, but even that was only something that happened with the main character, so nobody else knew anything about that, and it was still kept very realistic, like you were just watching an anime club. But then they got like a bunch of weird giant fighting robots and very anime stuff, and I think it's supposed to be funny, being absurdist and all that, but to me it's taken me a lot more out of the series. I think I have an episode 2 or 2 left, so I haven't quite finished it yet, but didn't like the way the past 2 episodes got. Next up, Urahara. Urahara is so good. It's really good. Like, it's artsy, it's creative, and I absolutely love it. Kotoko is great. Kotoko is one of my favorite characters this season. So, I absolutely love Urahara. Still love it because I'm not quite done with it yet. That one's a really good one. Lastly is Mahotsuka no Yome. And for Mahotsuka no Yome, I'm loving the mystery, the magic, the universe of the show. It has really great production quality, but there's just the one only negative I have is something I've talked about a bunch in the reviews, and I'll just bring it up here. Elias and Chise's relationship to me is portrayed kind of weird, kind of creepy. I don't want to say abusive, but manipulative is a way you could put the relationship. I'm put off by how it's portrayed. I don't really like that as much. especially when it gets to where it's trying to be romance-ish. And I get why they're trying to do that, because for some reason a lot of like, you see things that are like that get popular, like Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey or something. So it does draw in a certain female demographic, or just a certain demographic in general, I should say, really. It does draw in that, but I don't know. I think for most people it's kind of creepy to portray a romance that way. So yeah, I'm still kind of put off by that, and I think it'd be much better if it was just presented as a father-daughter or student-teacher relationship, more than they try to push it as being romantic in any sort of way. So yeah, that's my qualm with Moetsukai no Yome, and that's really what's kind of put me out of it, because it is everything except for the relationship between the main characters is a super important thing, and that super important thing isn't super good. But if that was good, or at least if it wasn't problematic or bad, everything else about the series is absolutely amazing, totally great. It's just the relationship between the main characters is the bad thing, is the qualm. So yeah, and that was it. Moetsukai no Yome ended us out, so that's all I've got to talk about here. Yeah, just making sure. So yeah, that's it. This was kind of long, but not too bad for me not actually going through with comments themselves. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm super happy and glad to be back into the swing of things with HaQ&A. So hopefully I'll read your comments, answer them as soon as possible, and we can start back off with everything going back to normal. We can start back off with that next week, I guess. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching. Like if you did like all of this video, whatever. Comment down there to tell me what you thought about any of these topics, anything you want to discuss for next week. Anything works in the comments for these. Subscribe for more of anything here and more, I guess. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. If you want a link to our Discord server, just ask and I'll give you one. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.